Jim is from the University of Alaska Fairbanks, specifically the International Arctic Research Center. I've known Jim through some other activities as well. He is going to be giving us a presentation today about an activity that he is not wrapping up, but I would say is in a new phase of deployment, which is called DataONE. And with respect to that, at the end of that, we'll have about 5 minutes, only 5 minutes today for Q&A, but I don't want to stifle your insistence in getting more information by following up with Jim or providing a dialogue on our team website. So without further ado, Jim, please take it on.
Thank you, Joe. Can you hear me okay?
Hear you real well.
Okay, we just became a member node of DataONE, and I'd like to talk a little bit about that. DataONE is an NSF-funded project, and it's in its second 5 years of funding under a cooperative agreement with NSF. And that began, the second 5 years began last year. For those who don't know, their website is easy to remember, dataone.org. And just a couple of cuts and pastes from their website. Their goals are to meet the needs of science and society for open, persistent, robust, and secure access to well-described and easily discovered Earth data. So in the past, data has not necessarily been open or persistent. A researcher would do their project. The data might exist on a local website for a time and then disappear, or it might have been available by request only. So there's really a move in the last few years to make data persist and make it open and have some guarantees about robustness and security. The way they do this, the way they ensure the preservation, access, use, and reuse is through three primary cyber infrastructure elements. So what DataONE really is a way to federate or aggregate different data centers, and they provide some services that allow that to happen. So the first of those three cyber infrastructure elements are the coordinating nodes. Now those exist at Oak Ridge, University of California, Santa Barbara, and University of New Mexico. So the coordinating nodes provide the services that enhance interoperability of the member nodes, and they support indexing and replication services, which we'll get into in a little bit. They provide a replicated catalog of member node holdings, make it easy for scientists to discover data. So you have kind of a one-stop shop. You can search across a collection of data centers just by using their search tools. It also enables data repositories to make their data and services more broadly available to the international community. So anybody can come here and search for data, and they have some other tools that we'll get into as well. The member nodes, those are the individual data centers, of which ours is one, and there's roughly, I think we were number 26 to join, so there are a few more in the pipeline, so it must be getting close to 30 here. And to expose your data within the DataONE network, you implement the DataONE member node service interface. So this is an API for the developers that allow you to expose your data within their federation. And they make it kind of easy for you. They provide a generic member node, which is the route we took. That's a Django Python app that implements the DataONE API. And then you can simply choose how you want to populate that member node. And I'll talk about how we did that. The third leg of the cyber infrastructure that DataONE offers is an Investigator Toolkit. So One Mercury does the searching, and you can find that on their website. They have data management planning tools, which is important for NSF proposals these days. They want a data management plan, so they offer a lot of tips and tools for data management planning. They have data bibliographic tools for people who want to cite data and publications. They have an R client. Under certain circumstances, you can interact with data from DataONE and upload and download right from within R. They have workflow tools, and there's a couple other things they have going too that we won't touch on here. So getting back to the generic member node, this is how IARC became a member of the network. We stood up a generic member node as a virtual machine, and this is the Python app, the Django app, is pretty secure. You use certificates for both to authenticate both the member node and the coordinating node. So this was actually more secure than a lot of websites that just use HTTPS. So they will actually issue you the appropriate certificates to join the network. You upload a data package to your generic member node once you have it stood up, and that data package consists of data, a data object or data objects, a metadata object, and then finally a resource map. So the resource map, you have these objects, data and metadata objects that exist in your member node, and they become a package through the resource map, so that you can actually use other data sources in there. If you want to create a new data package, you can use existing data in the DataONE Federation and create new resources. You just tie the different objects together with a resource map. And the metadata object, you have to use a format that is supported by DataONE. What we do, we use ISO 19115 metadata, which is on the roadmap, I believe, to be supported by DataONE, but they don't have it supported yet. So we have some middleware between our data archive, which is a GeoNetwork instance. We download our metadata from our GeoNetwork instance and transform it to extended Dublin Core, which is it's actually a version that's used by the Library of Congress, which is a little bit different than the extended Dublin Core standard. And then DataONE modifies that again just a little bit. We upload our original metadata as data, since our metadata standard is not supported by DataONE. So what does all this mean for you? So you can make your data available to a wider audience. You don't really need to make any changes to your existing platform. Simply stand up a generic member node. You possibly transform your metadata if it's not in a format that's supported, and there is quite a variety of metadata standards that are supported. Upload your data package to the member node. You don't need to upload the actual data. You can just upload metadata if that's all you want. DataONE searches can direct traffic to your site. And that's pretty straightforward and simple. Is there any questions about how we've implemented anything or how DataONE works?
And please, just open yourself up to any follow-on questions.
Hi, this is Bill Manley, University of Colorado. This is very interesting. So can you tell me, can an uploaded data set actually be a pointer to a web service?
So that's a good question. If you go to DataONE and search, let's just say your archive decides, I didn't get into the different tier levels. You can join as a Tier 1 member, which just means you upload your metadata. And I think you can upload data as well as a Tier 1, but they have this mechanism that allows you to replicate data from other member nodes. But when you upload your metadata, you can have a field in there that will point a user that finds that record to wherever you would like to point them. So they might have to cut and paste a URL or something like that, but you can drive the traffic wherever you want, depending on how you populate your metadata. Because that's what people will see when they do a search. They'll find your metadata record, and then DataONE formats that in a readable manner.
Very good.
Renee Tusco, National Weather Service. Do you know if the World Data Centers are either member nodes or plugged into this effort in some way, shape, or form?
I don't know, but you can, it's easy to see who's involved. You just go to dataone.org/partners.
Okay.
And you'll see all of the current member nodes there. And also at the bottom of the page they have, I think they have pending. Well, there's a different page that has the pending member nodes.
Great. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. One thing I should have mentioned and didn't is this. I was going to talk more about the persistence. If your archive goes away and you've uploaded your data to the Federation, it persists even if your website goes away. So it's really a nice. They're looking for the, for the next generation. They want this data to be around.
And Jim, this is Joe Cass. A general question. From your perspective, with this system, what new advantages does it provide to the communities with respect to the collaboration of data?
I think the big thing, Joe, is you get to search across data archives that you didn't know about. People in the past have normally known where to go to find data about a certain thing, certain topic. And with DataONE, you have the opportunity to find data in archives you did not know about, and maybe it's something that is relevant to what you're looking for. And in the future, I believe there is some desire to use this federated system as a base for perhaps some semantic web type searches. And like building the R tool, if you can directly interact with data from the Federation, that's a pretty good benefit.
Okay, thanks, Jim. Any further questions? We have a little bit more time.
Yeah, this is Molly McCammon with AUS, and we've been working with the DataONE node and system through our Gulf Watch Alaska project in collaboration with NCs at UC Santa Barbara. And I think from our perspective, the benefit is that over time it just provides additional areas where data is archived and searchable. So it just provides a lot more opportunity to be able to find things and not get them lost.
That's a very good point, Molly, and that was one of our motivating reasons for joining is off-site backup. We're in Alaska, and it's great to have the opportunity to have our content replicated down in the States, and vice versa. We've made space available for other member nodes to replicate their data here. So that you really get this, this ties into this robustness and persistence, you know, desirable qualities to have for data.
Yeah, this is Sandy Starkweather. I have a question. So for the data that's at IARC that you were interested in providing this archive service for, is that because I'm thinking of something like ACADIS and how much of your data is NSF data. So is the idea that there wasn't another sort of system in place that was going to provide the kind of comprehensive data services you need because some of this data is not NSF data and couldn't use ACADIS?
My director, Larry, who's now been bumped up to Vice Chancellor of Research, when we first started this in 2010, we were real clear that we didn't want to step on anybody's toes. And we started out as being a place for data that didn't have a home. And there's a lot of projects that people are involved in here that are not NSF funded. And it was the typical scenario where the data would persist on a lot of local websites for a few years, and there was no real guarantee that it would persist, and a lot of it would just disappear over time. And so there was, you know, a local effort to collect all of this and make sure that it's preserved for future generations. And that's still pretty much our main focus, is to collect data that's generated from projects that don't have a data archive home like ACADIS.
Any other questions for Jim?
Just one quick question. This is Florence Stutterer with NSIDC, and if you could share with us the URL for the prospective partners, or I forget what you called them, the not yet quite final current member nodes, that would be helpful. Because, for instance, I was looking for AUs when Molly McCammon spoke up, so just knowing that the longer list is somewhere and being able to see what's there would be helpful, I think.
Let's see, I know the current ones are at DataONE.org partners. I'd have to search around for the URL that lists the up-and-coming member nodes.
And Jim,
that would be good to have.
Yeah, Jim, if you don't mind doing that and then posting it to the IARC site, that would be great.
I'll definitely post that before this meeting is over. I'll find it and put it up.
So, Jim, this is Renee. I went online to the DataONE website to take a look at the members. And no, I do not see any of the World Data Centers as members. And then for the up-and-coming members, those are listed right below the current members, and there were only 3 that are up-and-coming.
Oh, okay. Is that at /partners?
Yes.
Renee, this is Melissa Zwang from NCI, and we are working on getting plugged into DataONE, and if we are, then the WDC will be as well.
Oh, fabulous.
Excellent. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, we're going to have to move on, but once again, I don't want to limit the communication, so please follow up and feel free to make some posts to Jim, and Jim will respond appropriately as well. So once again, thank you, Jim. Appreciate you taking the time.